These are the products and supplies I use to make my stair rail makeover easy, efficient. The first one is lint-free cloths. Craft sticks to mix your product thoroughly because your wax and finish clumps at the bottom and you want your product thoroughly mixed before applying. Do you guys see the clump on that? Not good. You don't want that in your finish. I used ebony, Minwax's ebony stain. And this is the color that you can achieve with it. Of course, you're going to need paint. The paint color that I used was a white and a matte finish by Bare Ultra. This also has scuff defense built in. You're absolutely positively going to need several grits of sandpaper. I used the 60 grit and 150 grit. The 60 grit I used prior to starting the job just to knock everything off and get everything down to bare wood. And the 150 grit I used in between coats of my finish and paint. Of course, you're going to need some painter's tape to paint and to block off all of the places you don't want to get paint or stain. A ladder, a fine detailed brush to get in those nooks and crannies and under the stair rail for sure. It's going to be really, really, really difficult to use any type of paintbrush. A Wooster's angle brush. You guys, this brush was literally my best friend. I did most of the white painting with this brush, and it was so easy to get around those hard to reach spots, to get in those angles, because this brush is super duper angled, and it really, really helps you to stay neat and to color in the lines. I'm telling you, if you're going to do this job, get this brush. In my opinion, you should definitely get the finish to whatever stain you're using. I chose the Warm Gloss by Minwax. And again, I put a little bit of stain in with my Warm Gloss by Minwax and polished several coats of finish throughout my handrail because it is a high traffic area. My kids run up and down the stairs all day, and the first thing they do is put their hands on it. So I needed a very, very, very generous application of finish because I've told you guys several times I am not doing this again. You're going to need finishing wax to buff in your job after everything is complete. You want to use a very light grade steel wool. You're going to need drop canvas or something to protect your flooring. Just showing you guys what it looked like before versus what it looks like after. You definitely need gloves. You can clearly see my gloves are so stained. This stuff will stain your hands for days. Please wear gloves. And you certainly don't want to use the same brush that you're using for your finish with paint because one is oil based, the stain, and the paint is water based, and it's going to just mess you up. Don't do it. Use a separate brush for each product. Make sure you have extra brushes on hand in case something dries out, or if you can, or if you'd like, you can store your used paint brushes in a plastic sandwich bag. That way they stay moist, they don't harden, and you will not have to run water over your brushes because that will mess your job up completely. Don't do it. Okay, key things to mention. I have still ran into complications. The first of those complications being If you are doing stain on your wood banister, I thought I would give you guys an example of what stain looks like painted on versus stained on. Stained on actually shows the wood grain. To look painted and not stained, you need to paint it on with a paintbrush, let it sit, and then wipe it off with your lint-free cloth, whatever one you decide to use, with sealer on it, okay? As a DIYer, I thought I would bring you guys the most useful and helpful tips that I've picked up doing this twice. I hope this helps. Happy DIY.